What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Happy early birthday, America. July 3rd, 2026, one day before the 250th anniversary of this great nation we call home here for all my American followers. Happy early 4th to you. I am very excited for this stream. I'm very excited for this weekend. I hope y'all had a wonderful week. I can't believe I actually got the 4th of July off. Another good news, I'm also very happy because I officially have been notified that I will be based at home finally. TBD on the date though, which could make or break the rest of my fall and winter, but that's also good news. So tons of good news happening around these parts here for me at the V1 HQ in North Texas. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday morning and look forward to the weekend as well. We got a special one for y'all. We are in the 737-800, which I just got done flying for 4 days. Whew, buddy, what a trip that was. And we have a little special something I'm going to show y'all here today. So y'all know I hate light switches because you can't ever go flip the light switches when you're taxiing. You got to look up to do it. I always said overhead panels would be epic. Well, before I left on my last trip, literally as I was leaving, in my uniform, I'm leaving the house, I get a delivery. And the delivery, I'm like, what is this from? I had no idea where it came from, who it was from, and I looked at it and I didn't recognize the label or anything. So I opened it up slightly and there it was. The RowsFire Rtrhobby B107 overhead panel. I had been talking to them early on when they were making this panel early, like they were just showing the early release variant of it or whatnot. And then it just kind of fell quiet and I thought, okay, whatever, it's cool. And I guess they had actually sent one to me, but they never notified me that they sent one, so I wasn't expecting it. And once it showed up, I was very excited to take a look at it. But of course, I was off to work, so I haven't been able to use it for the last week. But we're finally back from work. We're ready to rock and roll. We're gonna give it a little test today. We're gonna talk about the RowsFire software and all that stuff that goes with it. I'll show you a little bit of how I set it up and whatnot, and we'll just see how it handles on today's stream. Fingers crossed, because I haven't done any testing, which I should always do testing before doing something live, as terms of, you know, all the software stuff. But it is what it is. I was running out of time, so let's rock and roll. Let's have some fun with it. I hope you guys are ready for this one. It should be a fun stream. I have the sim wound back to 5:04 a.m. in Chicago Midway Airport. Excuse me. Gnat flew in my face. And we're at the Rtrhobby Design FPS Killer Midway, so it should be fun. And we're going over to Rtrhobby Design FPS Killer DCA. But nothing says freedom more like the Freedom One into Washington National on the Freedom arrival. So it's kind of an obligatory July 4th stream. So I hope you guys are ready for it. Ryan Gents, thank you for the $5 super chat, my man. Appreciate you. He says, hello from 32,000 feet over the Atlantic, making my way from Charles de Gaulle to JFK. Pretty speedy Wi-Fi. My goodness, you got some Starlink up there? Ryan, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Super chatting from 32,000 feet. That might be the highest $5 I've ever received from 32,000 feet. Ryan, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Enjoy your flight all the way back to JFK. I hear it's nice and cool up there, so it should be great. Bill's Mafia, what's up, my man? 30 months of support. Hope you're alive up there in the old Buffalo area, my friend, because it's pretty toasty out there on the East Coast, of what I hear. Thank you. Happy 4th to you, man. Good to see you here. Welcome back. XP72 in the house, my man. XP, I saw you unveil that little tiller situation. XP, what's going on with that tiller, man? XP is like the hardware guru, man. XP's the hardware guru. Good to see you, man. Zippy Zapple is in the house. What's up, man? Happy early treason day. Yes, indeed. That's right, Zippy. They hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because they ain't us, chat. What's up? Tyler Berg, thank you for the 28 months support. Welcome in. Flying November 1. Whoo. I hope you got the special livery going for November 1. Victor Charlie, making you money on Jet Card. You know, if we have time, I would love to do a Jet Card stream this evening. I just don't know how much time we have after this stream. I got a dog appointment, I got an appointment for my dog, rather, at 2 o'clock that I was going to see if I can help the wife out with. But I would love to take the Falcon 50 up in Jet Card later. But we'll see. That's TBD. If not, we might just do that tomorrow. because they're like on experimental 4. The Falcon 50 Discord is very active. But thank you, Tyler Berg. Post some screenshots of one VC up in the air. And Drew Smith, thank you for the 20 months of support, my friend. Glad to have you on board. Howdy, V1. Happy 4th. Happy 4th right back at you, my friend. Right back at you. Can't stay long. Just dropping off like Darth Russ. Good to see you. Joe Plains. Mr. Chicago, good to see you, man. At least Chicago got an ortho update. I should have gone to, I should have probably just done O'Hare. The Iceman. I should have done O'Hare. But we're at Midway. It is what it is. Jeremy Harvey, now it's good to see. What do you think of the new Independence 1 livery? I like it. I actually was hoping it would be on an NG. Tomorrow, if I do stream, there's no promises. I don't know what we're doing in the morning, July 4th. I don't think there's not much going on for us personally. So I may sneak out to the office and do an Independence 1 stream on the Max. Because that's on the Max, right, Jeremy, if I'm not mistaken? So we might do a Max stream tomorrow, and we might see if I can get this panel to work. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to get going here. So... Turks, I did see the vacancy awards. Actually, I didn't see them. My friend sent me a screenshot because I don't have my iPad, and it's only on that comply thing, right? So I couldn't see him. He said I'm on the awards, so that is good news, man. I'm excited for it. The entitlement came through. I guess I just have to wait now to know when the effective date is, right? Because it could be a span of 3 extra months or not. Commuting is getting old. Anyway, all right. Welcome in all. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me show you a little something special. Whoo, buddy, look at that. In all her glory, the overhead cam. And actually, in overhead cam, I guess we'll leave the throttle cam as is. But there she is, the B107 from RowsFire. She's not on right now, but she will light up with the aircraft when we get it set up. So, without further ado, I think we should fire up the PMDG 737-800. Who's ready to go with me? Let's do this. So let's hop into the cockpit. I'm going to get you over here. Up. Well, I say up to the overhead, but maybe we shouldn't go up to the overhead. Now, I will say, there is, I have to figure out the mounting, how I want to mount this. Right now, I have it on a vase. I think it's a VESA mount, like a regular monitor mount. It actually works good, but the angle at which I look at the switches in real life is how I identify what the switches are doing pretty quick, right? You know what to look for. So it's kind of playing tricks with me on my eyes, looking at it straight in front of me here. But it's still, actually, I have it sitting on a desk mount next to me, and it actually is pretty stable, and it works very well. So let's go ahead and let's fire it up. So here's our battery switch. We'll get the battery switch on. Now, one thing I got to do is you have to close the guard on the battery switch, because the battery switch, I don't believe, is guarded. You can't like bind the guard. I'll show you how to hook up these guarded switch covers here too. So with that on, we're also going to connect the ground power. So we'll turn you on. Oh, there she is, and she's lit up. Now, do we want the light on or off? I was getting some interference with my lights. I'm going to go light off now that the panel is backlit. So we got the panel on. Now we're going to go up to the overhead. I'm going to kind of move through the cockpit with you so you can see the switches moving as I move them here. So let's go ahead and get align nav. Yaw damper is in the off position for right now. As I move across, now this is where real world flow is going to get a little interrupted. So I'm going to come over here and back to my mousing action. We're going to do our Mach airspeed, and we're going to do our stall warning. Eventually. Number 2. KDXO, thank you for the 11 months of support. How you doing, Kato? Hope all is well. I saw you flying that 7.4, my man. Almost a year, dude. Almost a year. Brad Ward, thank you for the 1.5 years of fun. Hey, man, here's to the next 1.5 years. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate that. 18 months as a member on the channel. All right, we did stall warning 1 and 2, so then we can come back down to our traditional overhead sweep, right, of the panel. Oh, now hold on. So now this is one thing that's super annoying with this software. I need to close. So RowsFire wants to pop out. There we go. Wants to pop out my PMDG panels on my second monitor, and I don't know how to stop that. All right, so that's done. Let's go ahead and set up the rest of the FMC here. We're going to come down here. We'll do our little FMC, pause and knit. And we'll bring you over GPS left. I don't think I have the camera set up for the FMC. Oh, we need to pull that in from over here. So let's go over to this situation. Electronic flight bag. I just updated the nav data. We'll pull this in. Ryan, what's up, man? Thank you for the $10 super chat from 32,000 feet as well. JetBlue 1408, if you or anyone wants to take a peek, still got 4 hours left. First time flying transatlantic in a narrow body. Ooh, managed to score Mint Studio. Oh, now that is snazzy. Hey, if it's good enough for Mike Tyson, it's good enough for me. Ryan, that's cool, man. The Mint Studio on JetBlue. JetBlue. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Appreciate the $10 super chat, man. Very kind of you, my friend. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. Now we've got that flight plan request. Yeah, we know it's unable. Now let's go back in here. Let's bring you in. Excellent. And we'll just set payload. We'll set fuel. We'll select the route, and that's going to request. We'll come down here. We'll step out here. We'll do this, and then we'll go outside and do our pre-flight. Once our pre-flight is done outside, then we'll come back in and continue the rest of the overhead sweep. So I'm going to sweep it with my panel, and you guys can follow along. So no fuel tank pumps on right now because the APU is not running, so we'll leave those all off. Back up here, we'll get the cabin utility bus on. These are down and guarded. I wonder why the switch covers were up. That's interesting. Okay, so those switch covers, that might have just been a syncing thing. Switch covers are down and guarded. No APU power. Then we'll come back down this side. Now it'd be cool if I could hook up a dome light to my panel in the office. That would be cool, but dome light could stay off. We're going to come down here. We'll get that on. No smoking seatbelt sign. Those can both come off. We'll put the sterile sign on. One other thing is the emergency exit light cover. I gotta fix that bind so it syncs up. So some of the guarded switches, the guards don't go down, but the switches work. Now this is due to just how the panel works in real life. So in real life, the guard doesn't do anything, but when the guard is down, it automatically puts a switch in its position that it's supposed to be in, if that makes sense. So that's why it doesn't sync up right away. Now, there may be some profiles out there that fix this. I am running a default profile with RowsFire right now, so I haven't done any additional binding or anything. I just load up the RowsFire software, plug and play. A little bit of a headache. We'll talk about it later on. Let's get our window heats. Those are coming on. Probe heats can stay off. Electrics will stay. We'll get the logo lights on. Chickstick logo lights will go position and steady there. Wheel well light can go off. Normally we would go set that because we're going to go outside and look around. Let's get the trim air on. This came out of maintenance. So we'll get the recirc fans into auto. We'll put left packs into auto. We'll open the isolation valve. We'll leave the APU bleed off. That's our normal panel position. We'll set the cruise altitude today of 39,000 feet. This is actually really cool. I didn't think I would like that as much. Or I don't know, not that I wouldn't like it. I just didn't realize how cool it would be to set your own landing elevation and stuff just like the jet. Let's see what DCA is. DCA is, it's pretty close to sea level, 141. So we'll dial in 150 there. And that is in, let's put you in auto. Notice we were out of a position there. So we were in auto. Good. Overhead panel sweep is complete. Couple things we need to double check here though. We'll do our CVR test. Boom, that is set. Everything else looks good. Now let's come across our regular panel. I don't think I have my EFIS set up, but that's fine. But let's go ahead and get flight director, auto throttle on, flight director. We'll set our course lines and everything later when we figure them out. We'll do our FMC tests. We'll do number 2 test, and we'll reset that. Lights test, tapes and 8s. Everything seems to be working. Excellent. Dive back to there. We'll do fuel flow reset back to you. Rate. RTO selected. Clear the master caution. Coming around this side, everything looks good. We'll go FMC, and we can go ahead and load our flight plan while we wait. Park brake. We'll make sure you're set. Park brake is set. Fire test. Here we go. And then we would check the bell cutout as well. And then we'll do fire test. And then you'd hit the bell and make sure that worked as well. All right, and check the APU, or excuse me, not the APU, the fire bottles for all 3 or 2 engines in the APU. That looks good. We'll set COM 22.8. That checks out. And 2000, we'll just put you in TARA for now. Aileron rotor trim 00. That is pretty much completed. Howdy, V1. Pong, who's that? Pong Rapat. Thank you for the 19 months of support, man. Appreciate you. Very kind. Howdy right back at you, my friend. Howdy right back at you. At least you got the overhead panel. Better than opening the door to get your Taylor Swift wedding invite. Jeez. Thank you, Anthony Teal, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Very kind. Thank you for the long time support here as a member on the channel. I see that those wings there, my friend. Thank you so much, Anthony Teal, for the long time support. Turk Heron in the house. Office Dome would be cool. Only if your mom's around, Turk Heron. Darth Rust, good deal. I'm not smoking. I'm holding a light cigar in my mouth. Exactly. Exactly. How much is the overhead? Click on the link. I believe, I don't want to lie to you. Let's see what they got going right now. It is $659 USD, I believe. 659. There is a sale right now, 15% off. I believe it is in pre-sale, so but you can check that out at the link and all the additional information there. All right, let's come down here and set up the rest of the box. We're going to activate this. We'll execute you. I don't think, yeah, that camera's not set up, so let's just leave you like this for now. And we'll set up the rest of the box here. So let's go departure, arrivals. Why is my departure arrival not quite working? That's interesting. Oh, you know why? Because it's the Rose. It's not the RowsFire. It's the Moby flight profile. All right. So departures midway. That looks good. 22 left. Route. All right, and then we're going to go into DC. I wanted to do the River Vij. Let's just make sure the winds aren't crazy out of the wrong direction, and we might do that. Right now, I think we were planning on runway 1. Winds are 070 at 5, so that's perfectly acceptable. We'll do the RNAV Zulu. Is it the Zulu 19? We can bring our little PMDG up here, too. See this? Arrival, approaches, RNAV Zulu 19. Yeah, that's what we'll do off of Darcy. So we'll do the RNAV Zulu 19, and we're coming down the Freedom 6. Freedom 6 via Bucko. Freedom 6, Bucko transition, execute, legs, route data, winds request. Let's get those requested if we can. I don't know if we can, actually. Who's that? Happy birthday, America. Happy Friday, V1. Hey, Blair's World. Happy birthday right back at you, my man. Or happy birthday right back at, from America right back at you. Winds request. I don't know why it's not pulling up right now. That's fine. Let's go ahead and do the init ref. And this should auto-load, if I'm not mistaken. So let me go over here. Let's go ground operations. Excuse me. Let's go weight and balance. Load plane from SimBrief. Okay, and now we should be able to pull these datas in here. 122.8, we'll do a reserves of 5,000, cost index 55. We're cruising up there, flight level 39 that goes in the box. We'll execute that. N1 limit, we're going to do a 26K out of here. It's hot, so we're not actually going to derate, so we're going to do 26K standard takeoff, probably a flaps 15. Flaps 15, CG is set 24.7. Let's bring these speeds in 29, 31, 41. Let's set our MCP 141. And we'll set initial altitude 10,000. That's fine. Looking over at the next page, it's dry. We need to change our acceleration height to 1,000, 1,000, and 1,000. All right, so that all looks good. We'll just double tap those speeds, 141. That all sets up wonderfully. Okay, so it's going to be a vector departure pretty much out of here, off runway 22 left. Perf is complete. N1s are done. No derate. 26K takeoff. I think it's time we start the APU. So let's, do we have any fuel in that center tank? We do not. So let's get the left forward fuel pump on. Low pressure light goes out. You will notice I do have one light out on the overhead panel. I don't know if that's something I can fix or maybe something got loose in shipping, but this is still, to my knowledge, it's still this particular build was like a pre-release build. So there may be some things in there that I can adjust around, but yeah, I do have, there's one fuel pressure light that doesn't appear to be illuminating. But anyway, that's set up. Now this is pretty cool. Let's watch this. So I'll sync you to the overhead and we'll go APU on and start. And we'll take a listen outside. Pay attention to the APU needle if you can see it right there. Can you see it moving? Isn't that pretty sweet? Can I turn the brightness up? Yeah, look at the brightness up a little bit. One step closer to full cockpit mode. No, I don't know about that. D-rate not this weekend, America, baby. That's right. Amen to that, AJ Funari. Thank you for the $3 super chat, man. Amen to that, my friend. Almost 3 years. Happy 4th. Happy 4th, Zippy. Almost 3 years, man. 35 months of support. Thank you, Zippy. Appreciate you, my man. All right, so we've got a good start on the APU. We'll go ahead and put the APU on bus. Look at that. Perfect power transfer as normal. We'll start the chrono before we get the bleeds configured for the APU bleed. We'll give that at least 2 minutes. We'll do a magic barrel ref. Let's verify runway 22 departure. Let me look at my taxi charts here for midway real quick. And then we're about ready to blast off. 22 left is course 227 degrees. 227, 227, and we'll set the first officers as well. All right, 227 across the board up to 10,000 feet. We're going to be VNAV, but we're actually going to be heading off the ground. If I look at there is no departure. Midway 8 basically says fly a heading. So we're just going to fly heading. So LNAV will remain deselected for the departure. So LNAV is deselected. Auto throttle's armed. I'm flying. You're coming with me. It's time to do a quick review of the box, and then we're getting out of here. So, actually, fueling is complete as well. So let's get the rest of our fuel tank pumps on, and we'll get the seatbelt sign on as well. All right, now let's do a quick review. Route page. So midway to DC, Southwest 357, direct Lukey, direct Gish, direct O10s, direct Anuwa, direct Jerry, direct Newsome for the direct to Bucko for the Freedom 6. All right, moving on to legs. My EFIS is not plugged in, and I don't want to plug it in, so let's just start like this. Let's see, Lukey, Gish, O10s, Anuwa, Jerry, Newsome, Bucko. That's the arrival. That checks. I got a total route distance of 550 miles. Flight plan is calling for 542 miles. That's within limits. Beautifully. That checks. Moving on to performance data. We got a zero fuel weight of 122.8, reserves of 5, cost index 55. Going up to flight level 390, trans altitude is 18,000 feet. We're at 26K motor, no D-rate. It's 30C outside. For speeds, we're looking for runway 22 left, full length, flaps 15. 129, 131, 141 is set. Trim is 24/7 and 3.4 on the units, which is pretty much at the limit right now. 3.4 units set, expertly set for a flaps 15 departure. That's based off of 1,000 dry runways. Sound good? All right, excellent. No more questions. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed on. Packs are on. We'll clear the caution for the dual bleed. And we can disconnect ground power if we haven't already. It's already disconnected. We'll just verify that there with the switch. And let's go ahead and get everything cleaned up and out of here. So ground operations, let's go ahead and request release from the ground power. Release that, remove chocks. And we're about ready to rock and roll. I don't think there's anybody here with me on in midway. Let me double check the web eye. I was going to fire up Say Intentions today, but I just don't have enough time with it. Oh my gosh, there's actually a lot of airplanes on the ground in midway. There's 3 of you, 3 or 4 of you down there. Can I get a radio check on 22.8?
5x5.
All right, so here 5x5.
Same, how many?
Got you loud and clear.
Sweet.
All right, let's go ahead and prepare for pushback into departure. We'll put you back into map mode. We'll zoom you back down. I'm ready to go. Ready? Let's guide person would come on and they'd do their thing. We'd say, okay, ready for a push. We'll go probe heats. Hydraulics are coming on. Anti-collision light is coming on. I love that. I love being able to do my real-world flow with the overhead panel. Captain's flying today, so we'll move that ignition over to ignition left.
Push back, Tango 1 in the alley.
Midway traffic, Southwest 357, pushing back off Bravo 17. Cockpit to ground. Ground cockpit, go ahead, rear push, A firm. Brakes release, clear to push straight back. Let us know when we can start. We should probably run a checklist, chat, before start. Checklist.
123, pushing back off Bravo 25.
Parking brake is released now. Oxygen, we checked it. Navigation transfer display switches, normal and auto. Window heats on. Pressurization, auto and set. Terrain display selected. MCP set. Displays checked. Auto brake. RTO. Fuel quantity distributions. Column 15.5. We got 16.2 on board. CDU is checked. Engine start levers are cut off. Transponder, TARA, aileron, rudder trim, 0, 0, departure brief complete, fasten belts on, APU is on the buses. Fuel panel, set. I love being able to just look over at my fuel panel, set. Flight forms AML, onboard accepted aircraft, we are 0, Whiskey Romeo. PEDs are off, below the line, probe heat, that's on. Hydraulic panel, set. Doors, windows, closed and locked, anti-collision light, that is on. Before start, checklist is complete. Put up our engine page down here for engine start. Now, I think I had Boris on this, but then when I updated, oh, look at that. When I updated the PMDG to the latest version, I had an update in there. I think it went to default sounds, so we'll see. How big is the panel, Benny? It's probably, there's probably dimensions. If you click the dimensions on the link there, if you click on the link, pinned comment, and then check the dimensions, I bet you it'll tell you. I don't want to lie to you. It's probably, oh man, it's probably close to 22 inches in width and maybe like 18 inches deep. Cockpit to the ground, push complete, set brakes. Oh my gosh, look at that view. Park brake set, clear disconnect, shows the pin out front. We're starting them up. Can we get a like button smash? Because we got 62 likes. Look at that view of the city of Chicago. I'm going to just take a minute, take this in, have a sip of coffee. Nabil, what's up, man? These are Boris sounds? I know we can find out. If well, first off, why is my cockpit door open? We need to close that into the... Isn't there a way to close you? Hold on. I don't know if these are, I don't think these are Boris, Nabil. I'm pretty sure these aren't Boris. I'm pretty sure these are default. All right, we're clear to start. So, to start them up, let's go ahead and start 2. So we're going to pack, left, right, off, starting engine 2, grounding 2. Shh. Okay, so I was had my mic muted there for a second. I was going to say one thing that is unfortunate, or that's not, I mean, it's just not simulated in this panel, is the start switch does not return to the off position. In the real aircraft at 52 or 64% N1, if you're in a MAX or a regular NG, it will flick off to the off position. Now, sometimes it doesn't, and I've actually seen this one time where it didn't automatically click off, and you're supposed to just, we're actually supposed to you're supposed to move the start switch or the ground switch to off, and then there's a procedure that we do, but that only happened one time, and it was pretty rare. The captain's like, I've never even seen that before. So yes, the real aircraft, these start switches will automatically return to off. But we got a good start on number 2, so let's go ahead and put number 2 on the bus. Number 2's on the bus. Go ahead and start engine 1. So we're going to isolate and ventilate. So we'll put the isolation valve closed. We're going to get the right pack on. Isolate, ventilate, starting engine 1.
America.
F yeah. Sounds like we've got a good start on engine number 1. We'll go ahead and flip it on bus. APU is off the buses. We're going to go APU bleed, auto, back to auto on the overhead panel. APU is coming down. And you'll be able to see the needle spin down here in a minute. And let's go ahead. TPS is calling for flaps 15.
22 left, the Tango, Yankee, and we'll follow company traffic. Midway.
Flaps 15 juice. And Bill, I'm pretty sure they're not, which is crazy. I think these are default. But I don't know.
Very traffic, Sam 250, taxiing 22 left via Yankee, Midway.
We'll be able to tell on the takeoff, right? All right, let's do a flight control check. All right, flight controls check, flaps 15, recall. 6, no lights. After start checklist, please. Where'd my checklist go? All right, after start checklist. Anti-ice is off, generators on, air conditioning bleeds set, flaps set, flight controls checked, recall checked, after start check is complete. Midway traffic southwest 357, taxiing 22 left. Brakes released. Here we go, chat. My favorite part. Taxi light on. Oh, I freaking love it. Let's go. Let's freaking go, baby. Oh, yeah, you're right, Nabil. I think that is because I can hear the rattling of the window. Oh. Who thought you'd be so excited to fly an airplane I just flew for 5 days? Can we do that spool up again? Can we do that again? Hold on. Shh. My goodness. All right, we'll go to 22 left full length. We'll come up here and we'll stop. Check to see if it has A and C. Oh, yeah. What's the button for that, Bills? Right here, mask, boom. Yeah, no, it's not doing it. Someone has become a full 737 Glazer? I'm going to be honest with you. Buckeye fly. Real pilots fly 737s, man. Headset jack. Nothing up here. You have to click the headphones? I'm clicking it. Nothing. Open the window. Whew, buddy. All right, set the brake. Let's run through a before takeoff checklist here real quick. We'll blink the lower ND. Let's make sure we've been doing a lot of chit-chatting here, so let's go ahead and let's make sure we got everything set out here. Before takeoff checklist, takeoff data and bugs, closeout received and checked. Flaps, 15, green light. Stab trim, we are looking for 3.41 units set. Takeoff brief complete. HUD in op. Generators on. Air conditioning bleeds. Auto and set. MCP ND. Let's see. I'm flying. You're coming with me. 227 LNAV deselect up 10,000. Checked, runway 22 left. PA's complete, light set before takeoff, checklist complete. Alright. Let's go. Midway traffic southwest 357, departing 22 left. I'll slide them up. Oh, that's the best. Lights are all coming on. Wheel wells, that's all coming on. Strobe, steady. Actually, wheel well can go off. There we go. We're strobing steady. Logo light can stay on. Perfect. Alright, I guess we'll go to full screen cam now. Or I could turn the camera back around and point it at the yoke, but do you guys really want to see the yoke? I think you know what a yoke looks like by now. Oh wow, we got the old school Air Force One. I'm gonna be honest with you, I like the 748, but there's something about that old blue that maybe it's old school in me, man. I like the blue, the light blue better. Yeah, Bills, I think you're right. I think you're right, buddy. I think you're right. It is definitely. Alright, we're looking for 100.3 on the thrust. This is going to be one heck of a toga. So, Yoga's in chat. America 250th anniversary freedom flight. Spool them up 40%. Let's go flying to DCA. Here we go. Yoga. And one Toga. 80.
Midway traffic southwest 123, lining up runway 22 left.
V1.
Rotate.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
You're up. Fly with. Golly, look at that screenshot worthy right there. Heading select. Up to 10,000. Come left heading 180. Flaps 5. Flaps up. I'm just flying by the wing view there. Let's go ahead and make it heading 150. Let's go direct to Lukey. Execute LNAV.
Midway traffic southwest 123, departing from runway 22 left.
America.
Man, that's America right there, dude. That is freaking awesome. As we're speeding. That's also American. We're speeding. Let's get some trim in there.
Bank angle.
Southwest, they don't have bank angle checks. There we go. Barn Avenue to Lukey.
Midway traffic. Band 250 heavy lining up 22 left midway.
Alright, landing lights coming off. We'll leave the turn-offs on for now. Man, look at that. We are rocket ship. Alright, after takeoff checklist, we're going to go, that's coming off. Gear lever is coming down. Verify our pressurization. Everything looks good up top. So good. All right, up we go. Someone said something about feeling short. Yeah. Had to reset my view there. 9 for 10. Let's keep it climbing. 390. Buttons pushed. Up we go. Let's make sure we're good for
Midway
it.
traffic, SAM 250 heavy, departing runway 22 left.
Optimum 390. We're looking good. Midway traffic, Southwest 357 at 10,000 feet. Out to the east. Last call, Midway. All right, we're out of 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and load. Those are off. We'll chime the flight attendants. So they're chimed. Love doing that. I guess we can get rid of throttle cam when we're in overhead cam. Let's do that. I'm going to turn the sounds down a little bit, and I'm going to catch up to Pete Ski because he nuked my OBS there as we accelerate and climb out. Pete Ski, take a look at the O'Hare as we leave there. My goodness. Pete Ski dropping 20 gifted memberships to the channel. Thank you, Pete Ski. Very much appreciate the support. If you picked up a membership from Pete Ski, make sure you shout him out. Say thank you. Very generous of you, sir. I know you've been a long time fan and supporter of the channel. Thank you for spreading the love here at V1 Nation the day before America's birthday, man. Thank you so much, Pete Ski. If you do pick up a membership, y'all remember, be kind and courteous. Make sure you say thank you to those who have gifted. My friend, thank you, dude. We're up and away. Up and away.
Southwest 123, direct, Lukey, departing the airspace to the east. Last call, Midway. See you.
So, you can try on headphone simulation with the headphone 45 degree behind you and look down. All right, so hold on. He says headphone simulation. I tried up here, man. There's nothing to click. I think I have an old version of Boris. I think I have an old version.
Traffic Southwest 404, departing runway 22 left.
Turn the sounds down. We're at a 10,000. The next thing we're going to do, we'll hit the panel at 18 thou. We got to do the lights at 18 thou. So we got some of the background lighting up a little bit.
And captain's seat, lower left side there, Chief.
Captain's seat, lower left side. Oh, those? Oh, what? Y'all telling me to hit the boom thing. Oh, that is actually exactly what it sounds like when I turn on my A20s. That's exactly what it sounds like when you have A20s on. Yeah. All right, but I like hearing the sounds as is. All right, let's enjoy this wing view out over the lake. It's almost gone. T-Tut, my man, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Hope you and the fam have a great 4th. Don't blow off any fingers. Now that you fly Boeing, you need all that arm and hand strength to jerk the yoke. That is a true statement, T-Tut. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And for all of my, American followers that are going to be using some fireworks this weekend, please do be careful. Don't hold it in your hand. Everybody, there's going to be people, undoubtedly, that lose fingers this weekend. So don't be one of them. Prodigists, happy 1 year. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. 1 year. Happy 250th anniversary. 250th America. Had our 159th up here in Canada on Wednesday. I did see the Canada Day stream. I think XP was flying Canada Day. So that is very cool, man. Thank you, Prodigists, for the 12 months and 1 year of support. Rocking and rolling, baby. All right, we're getting ready to go through 18 thou. We're close enough. And don't deep fry frozen turkeys. That's true. That's a Thanksgiving thing, but yeah, don't do that. We don't want to do that. Man, what a beautiful climb out view. Hold fireworks in a closed fist for best results. Bomb Tech, jeez. Don't do that. Don't do what Bomb Tech said. That is a bad idea. Don't do what Bomb Tech said. All right, we're going through 18,000 feet, so let's go ahead and get the rest of our lights off. Those are coming off. Let's go ahead and get the logo light off. The wing light can come off. Cabin is pressurizing. I can probably turn down the brightness on this panel a little bit. Is that better if I turn it down a little bit for y'all? Everything else looks good. No engine anti-ice is required. I mean, it is pretty cool having that panel over there, I'm not going to lie. It would be cool putting it above my head. That would be next level. All right, STD set once, twice, and thrice. They are synced up once, twice, and thrice. Everything else is done. We're cruising on our way to the Washington Reagan International Airport as we climb out here. Let's talk a little bit more about the panel as we climb out. Actually, let me grab a couple things. Hold on. So hand toss bottle rockets are out. Al W, what's up, man? Yeah, hand toss bottle rockets are out. I've hand launched bottle rockets my entire life. Well, I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can do them. I mean, we've all done the obligatory bottle rocket crack shot, I'm sure, right? But well, maybe not all of us. Anyway, started late. We're going to DCA. Yes, we are. So somebody mentioned something about the. Do I need to turn? See if I can turn a bright light on there. Does it make it? You want to see like in all the light? Let's see. So, someone was talking about there's not the little white knobs on there. So, RowsFire will give you a baggie of little white switch caps and some metal, I guess like not screw covers, but what they would do is, if you want to give it a finished look, which I just haven't had time to do yet, you get these little circular thingy-majiggers here, and you place it on. I'll place it on this bus transfer switch. Probably not a good idea to do it on the bus transfer switch while we're flying. And then you can screw this on, and that will kind of give a more finished look, but not even more finished, but that's what the real airplane has. So the real jet will have these little, they're not washers, I don't know what you call them, that'll screw down to the base of the switch panel. And also, if you want to make all of your switch caps white, so for instance, let's do the ground power. I'm going to leave the ground power off. Let's do the bus transfer switch. I'll put a little white rubber doohickey on the top of it there, because when you get the panel, it will not come with any rubber doohickeys on it. It'll just be all silver switches. Now, you may think, and some airplanes, every switch has a white doohickey. It's a metal collar, exactly, Dreamrosity. Thank you. It's a metal collar. That's what I was trying to say. And there's another reason for that. I'll show you guys here in a second. But these little white switch caps, not every airplane real world has switches on or caps on all of them. Some do. What I'm doing is I took a picture of my favorite aircraft that I fly real world, and I'm putting the white caps over the switches that have white caps on them. Some airplanes, it's on every switch. Some airplanes, it's missing on some, like, you know, might be missing on a couple of light switches, or the engine start switch here might have a little white cap coming off of it. So you may get a silver switch every now and then. So I don't want it all to be uniform. This window overheat switch here in the middle up top, that one typically is not always silver, but for some reason, that one typically doesn't have a little white switch cap on it. I guess we could put the white switch cap on the smoking and fasten seatbelt sign here, so we can dress up the panel. So if you want to give it a more finished look, because when they come out of the factory, the aircraft that is, all of the switches, oh, I didn't push that one on hard enough. When they come out of the factory, all of the switches will have these little white covers on them. Now, in the real airplane, some of the bigger switches, such as the fuel pumps, I believe. No, maybe it's not the fuel pump. The APU, I know for certain, in the real airplane, the rubber doohickey isn't just a little doohickey. It's actually a screw part that you screw onto the switch to really make it stand out. Oops, I flipped the no smoking sign there. That's really the only difference to the real jet, is some of the white caps are actual screw-on caps to the switches themselves. And then some of them are just the little doohickeys. Now, about the white screw caps, I want to... Probably shouldn't do it with the drive lights. So when you get your panel, these guards are not on there. And what you do is, it's very simple. They ship you the guards in the same box, and you just place the guard over the switch, and then when the guard is over the switch, you take the metal collar right here, and then you slide it over the switch and you screw it down. So the metal collar is what holds the guards down to the panel. So the guards don't have a function in terms of triggering a LVAR command or anything. They're literally just hardware plastic guards, and then the switches underneath them will move to the correct position even if the guard, or if the guard is up and you just move the guard down, it will move the switch into the correct position, just like the real jet. Why is the crossfeed open? That is a great question. Crossfeed closed. Crossfeed closed. Thank you. I don't know why the crossfeed is open. Because I was messing with it probably earlier. So crossfeed is closed. Now, as you look at this overhead panel, this is probably a better view here. You can kind of see, you see how PMDG is modeled, every single one with a white doohickey. That's how they're supposed to come. But you can actually see, this is really good attention to detail here. So pay attention to the bleed panel doohickeys. You see these bleed panel doohickeys? These are actual screw-on doohickeys. All right? They screw on and off to the metal part of the switch, whereas this doohickey is kind of like a switch condom, essentially. You slide it on. So that's the only difference in terms of the switches when it comes to the real aircraft and then the B107 overhead panel there. But that's nice attention to detail there for those switches. You can see like all the light switches are just slide-on covers. Some of them don't have it. This one doesn't have it. But APU, you can see that one. That's a screw-on right there. Let me see. We get to this. DCA is full ground stop for rehearsals in a few. What does that mean? T-Tut. Full ground stop. Oh, for rehearsals for the for like 4th of July situation. Blair's World, thank you for the $10 soup chat. Flying Southwest 1776 across country today. SFO Phoenix Austin Indy DCA. What a flight that is, Blair's World. What a flight that is, my man. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Enjoy your flying. Like I said, is that Blair's World, that 1776 livery, is that only on the MAX, or do we have one of those on the NG? Because I would be interested to, well, I kind of want to fly the MAX to see if I can get this panel to work with the MAX. Bill's Mafia, thank you for the $5 super chat. Man, all this doohickey talk is getting me hot and bothered. Thank you, Bill's Mafia. How many times can we say doohickey? Thank you for the support, Bill's Mafia. And thank you, Blair's World. Appreciate you, my man. You only seen it on the MAX from Javiation? Okay, so tomorrow we might actually do, if I come to the HQ and stream, we might actually do 1776. Let's see the... Oh, that's cool. So it moves the windshield wiper. So this is, by default, it's actually synced them both up. That's interesting. That actually, I mean, so you don't go crazy. So if you're flying and you want to turn the wipers on, it is synced to both of them on the panel. Now, I'm sure you could change that binding with MobiFlight or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't the NG and MAX have the exact same overhead? Not quite. Not quite, Prodigist. So there is some differences in the MAX overhead. For instance, the EGT gauge is removed in the MAX, and you get a different APU fault light. Now, what I'm curious is, will this actually test? Oh wow, look at that! It actually does test my panel too. That's really cool. actually test the panel lights at the same time. The APU, this is missing. The bleed panel is slightly different, although it wouldn't make a difference on this overhead because the bleed panel gets rid of the ram door lights and all that stuff. And let's see what else is different on the Max. I think that's it. APU, bleed panel, and then there's some stuff up here that's different, but that's probably fleet specific. In our fleet, we have oh, well, there's a maintenance light of the Max where this says PSCU, but it's not simulated on the B107. Does it need changed in game again to be in sync? What does that mean? Sorry if you already answered this because I missed the start. What happens if you change the switch in game? I assume it's out of sync. Let's try it. So my no smoking sign is off. If I change it in game, yeah, now it's out of sync, but now let me turn it on. It won't move. Turn it back off. So it won't like stay one out of sync with you. It essentially would just wait till you catch it up. So for instance, this switches to off and on, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think overall, the panel itself in terms of its build quality, I think it's pretty dang good. I think it would be neat if, well, you could probably paint these. I might get a little white out and just put a little white in the crack of those panels. If you notice, the overhead switches have that white strip down the middle there. I think that would change the look just a little bit, give it a little bit more character. Get a little white out pen or something in the middle. But overall, the build quality is very nice. The lights work. Other than I have two, like I said, I got a low fuel pump light that does not appear to illuminate. Maybe that's something I can fix as I move forward. This is literally my first test flight with this panel working. I'm trying to think if there's anything. There was something I wanted to. I think it. Well, I mean, I know what they're trying. So they're trying to do for cost. I think it would have been cool if you had at least this panel here. Give me the 4 buttons for stall warning up here, so you could do your entire overhead flow. Because, you know, I mean, I guess you can if you're not doing any tests. But for me, if you're doing real world operations, I want to turn my ADIRs on, and then I got to test the Mach airspeed and stall warning. So I still have to kind of come up to my overhead in the sim, but not a big deal. But could have added a couple light switches up there. But other than that, I mean, they even got the trim air switch here, which is nice. I think for getting it to the size that they were trying to get it, it fits perfectly on your desk. I have it sitting vertical on my desk next to me, just to give you a reference point. So like, there's my sim setup. I'm over here. And I've got it sitting vertical on a, it's a VESA mount type thing. It's kind of like a control stand. It's a real heavy duty stand, so it holds the panel nicely. But, oh, I pushed my doohickey. I was afraid to push my doohickey on this bus transfer too hard here because I don't want to accidentally, I'm going to just leave it off. I don't want to flip my bus, mess up all my bus ties in flight right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a picture of my favorite airplane if I get to fly it again. I'm going to see exactly which switches have the white on them and which ones don't, and then I'm going to set up my panel the same. But they give you a ton of them. If you wanted to make them all have the white knobs or not, you could do that, no problem. So that's that. Oh, it would be cool if you could get the start switches to kick off. But again, it's all probably cost related to get it within a decent price point. Squawk 1776 for freedom. Ooh, that'd be a good one, AJ. Indeed, my man, indeed. Any plans to mount it above you? I'm thinking about it. Joe Plains. I just don't know how I would do it in my current HQ setting. I really would like to, because for me, like I was saying earlier, when I look up at the overhead, let me get into my seat that I'm my little poverty FO seat here, real world. So when I look up, this is, I mean, it's a little bit, it's probably more like that's what you see. And with my eyes, I can identify pretty much the switch positions by looking at it from an angle like the bleed panel. Well, really, realistically, it's more like that, I guess, would be a realistic angle. So sometimes it's kind of hard to see if you're in auto or off. So I tilt my head to the right a little bit, because if you're taller, you're kind of right underneath the panel. So I tilt my head to the right to see exactly where the switches are, if they're in auto or high or off. Sometimes you can misplace the pack switches. But when I look at the panel at this angle, I immediately can identify something that's out of place. When I look at the panel to my left vertically, I know what I'm looking for, but my eyes aren't trained to look for it out of place. So I would love to mount it over my head. I don't know if I want to get all that lumber in here, you know. I might just get used to it like this, because it fits perfectly on my desk. I got a cable already mounted to it. That's not out of the question. I might look at XP72 setup and see what he's got cooking for it, to see if he has an overhead setup. I know he has one. He built it with some wood 2x4s and stuff. But right now, I think I like it as is. What makes it your favorite airplane? It's a livery reset jet. So I have a favorite livery that I fly at my operator, and if I get to fly it again, I'm going to take a picture of the overhead to make sure it is the exact same layout I have. Because, you know, very rarely do you get an overhead where every single switch has the white doohickey on it, because they just fallen off over time. Unless it's a Max. Like the new Maxes, then they all have them. But, oh, I was going to say that's the one thing. I mean, there's a little, you know, you can kind of nitpick here and there, preferences, right? But it's all price for, like, what are you going to get? Like, how much value are you going to add to a panel that justifies the cost? The one thing that if I could have suggested is, you've already got this great EGT gauge here, which is probably my favorite part of the panel, is seeing this EGT move in real time with the APU. I wish they could have done a pneumatic pressure, duct pressure gauge right here. The reason for that being is, yes, you move the switches to where you want them for engine start, packs off, bleed on, all that stuff, whatever. But the switches are just a command. You always verify with your actual duct pressure. You're selecting a command, you're commanding it to give you something, but you only know if you're actually getting it if you what? Look at the duct pressure gauge. So I feel like they could have used something very similar to this, and then just put the little duct pressure gauge in there. I think that would have been pretty cool. But I also don't know, you know, how much would that add to the panel if you're going to do all that, right? So other than that, I think it's a pretty solid product. Like I said, the build quality on it is very nice. It doesn't feel cheap. The switches, the ones that are spring loaded, for instance, like the ground power, that's a spring loaded switch to off, spring loaded to neutral. But if you go on, it spring loads back. Ground power off, spring loads back. That's correct, just like the real thing. All the generator switches, they're spring loaded to position. They mimic the real overhead panel. So they did some homework on identifying which switches are spring loaded to which position and which way they should be. So they've done their homework on that. Let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign off. You're now free to move about the cabin. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. And I'll probably do a dedicated video on how I set it up. Now, I'm going to show you all the software. Let's make sure everything is set up here. We're looking good. Let's go outside view for a second. All right, let me turn it down. The OEM Honeywell push throw switches use the screw-on cap. Oh, really, Al W? So that's a bit of knowledge. So Al Sand, the screw cap ones are Honeywell switches. That's pretty cool, Al. Thank you for that info, man. Some of the new Maxes are coming without duct pressure gauges. No. Really, Dreamerosity? No, dude, I can't imagine them coming without a duct pressure gauge. I had a Max that every time we turned on the bleed, it would overtemp and pop a circuit breaker. That was pretty sporty. Almost got stuck in my new favorite place on the planet. Does anybody here live in Kalispell, Montana? I had never been there before. I need to see if that scenery works in 2024. People ask me all the time, what's your favorite airport in the U.S.? Or what's your favorite airport? I always tell you, I don't know. Home base is my favorite airport, which true. But other than my home airport, because I'm home, my new favorite airport of all time in the United States is KGPI, Glacier Park International in Kalispell, Montana. The airport is essentially a ski lodge. I was so excited. I walked in there. I thought I was at a ski lodge. There's a big there's a fireplace and just like that wood ski cabin feeling. I even bought a mug. I went and bought a mug. I went to the coffee shop. I asked the barista chick, I was like, hey, what's the most like Montana coffee you have? She's like, well, you need to get a Mayan mocha. Like, okay, sign me up. So I got one of those. That was amazing. Walked around the airport. It's a small airport, but the approach in there is epic. If you're flying the RNAV coming around in the base in there, and then there's these tall mountains that are right off. It's the first time where we were flying in a Max, and I'm looking at the VSD, I'm looking at the vertical profile, and we're flying right into the mountain. But you're on an RNP arc, so you're flying this arc, but it's pointing you right at the mountain. You got to be on it. It is an absolutely stunning, beautiful place to fly in and out of. And the airport itself is it's incredible. It's such a different vibe than any other airport I've been to in a very long time. And it is now my new favorite airport. So there's a 2020 scenery that I want to see if works in 24. But Thrustset says, I tried to get you to fly in there a few times on stream. Thrustset, dude, I was even looking at Zillow. I was talking to the wife. I was like, can we like move to Kalispell? How would that commute look? And actually, there was a guy that commutes down on the 777. But anyway. Anyway, I was going to see if we can get some. Let's show you this software here. I'm sure the latest sim update probably broke that airport. Really, AJ? No. Surely it didn't. Finally managed to catch one. Been moving the last couple days. Super busy, but glad to escape the heat. Diabetic Lad, what's up, man? Moving out of Texas or just moving locally in Texas? All right, let's go to full screen cam. Now, hope this doesn't screw up stuff. Okay, so here is the software. When you get the software, it comes with a pretty self-explanatory instruction manual to set it up. But even then, I still had some issues. If you click buttons out of the wrong order, it'll lock up and you have to force close the software. But anything these days, whether it's force feedback yokes or panels, additional panels, what really is making or breaking these products, because I feel like a lot of the products that we're getting now in terms of hardware, they're most of them are comparable in terms of the build quality. Now, there are some that are obviously a little bit higher quality and some that are a little bit lesser quality, but in general, we're getting some really good competition at the same level of quality that is a good level of quality for decent price points. So what's separating this stuff is the software that runs behind it. Now, the RowsFire software here that I launched, like I said, it's pretty easy, but if you do stuff out of order, it'll do weird things on you. So essentially what you do, once you get the airplane or once you get the panel plugged in, you launch the software from RowsFire. Now, I had to toggle my USB on and off just so it would trigger the pickup. And then once you do that, you go to the firmware. And what was driving me nuts is you have to select the COM panel, which is COM 5, and you have to open that port or whatever that means, right? If you don't open that, nothing will work. And I skipped that part, so it kind of gave me some issues. But you open the port, you upload the product model, right? You come down here, you select your B107 or whatever other panels you have. Then you upload it, you flash the device with the new firmware. Once it's been flashed with the new firmware, here's the next trick. You have to then close the COM. Because if you don't close the COM and you go hit run, it will lock. At least for me on my computer, it would lock up, and I'd have to force close it. So the booklet that it comes with, I can show you that here. So when you get the RowsFire box, you'll get this booklet here. And it has pretty much self-explanatory instructions. Open this. You see where it says open COM port in red. So I'm not faulting RowsFire for bad instructions. I'm faulting myself for not being able to read very well. You guys know I'm not a very good reader. So just follow the instruction booklet step by step, word for word, and you're not going to have any issues. It is pretty easy to set up once you follow it correctly the first time. If you don't follow correctly the first time, you're going to be like, oh, this is going to drive me nuts. Now, I'm using the RowsFire app and the RowsFire software. If you use RowsFire software, it's plug and play. You plug it in, it automatically detects 737-800, and we're flying, and we're playing with the panel. There's no binding. You don't have to sit there and make your bindings and do anything like that. Now, there is an option, and there is instructions included in the manual for MobiFlight. If you would like to use MobiFlight, how to connect your device to MobiFlight right here. And there's additional sections in this manual. You can connect your device to MobiFlight, install via FSUIPC, and then I'm assuming you could get profiles and do all your stuff like that. Now, I'm running MobiFlight right now on the side, and I kind of hate it. I hate MobiFlight. I used to like it. I used to think it was GOAT software, but every time there's an update, it seems to break my FCU. It seems to break the buttons. I have to go back and rebind buttons and profiles, and it's just, I don't know. And not enough people publish profiles for it, so I'd almost rather just use default software. For instance, like SimMap Pro with all the WinWing stuff. It's plug and play. Everything works as intended. But anyway, it's if you like MobiFlight, it comes with instructions to use MobiFlight. So yes, if you want to use MobiFlight for everything, you can set it up. And then you'd be able to bind additional switches, right? So if you wanted to bind your panel to another airplane, it's very possible to do that. Anyway. Why are you updating Mobi? Well, Turk, I'm not anymore, dude. I'm not anymore. I'm not opening anymore, or I'm not updating. Like when I launched it for this flight, it asked me to update, and I'm like, hell no, get away from me. I'm not updating MobiFlight. Keeping it on a super old version. But I'm trying to move my panel. That's a beautiful shot right there. Let's see. I think that pretty much covers everything I really need to talk to. It came in a nice box. It comes with a USB-C cable. I already had one, so I didn't. But it comes with a decent length USB-C cable. It does not come with any mounting hardware unless you order that separately. If you peruse the website, it has possible mounting hardware that you can purchase. But I don't have any experience with that. I just, like I said, I'm using a. I think it's like a not a laptop. It's a monitor stand with a VESA mount on the back, and I've just mounted this instead of another monitor. A lot of the Mobi alternatives suck too, and running default software a lot of HID. Yes, and that's the thing, Darth Russ. Where I'm starting to get a little bit leery of running too much stuff in the background. I'm all about keeping my sim as default as possible and running as minimal softwares in the background as possible. So right now, at least, MobiFlight runs alongside of RowsFire, no issues. I've heard if you try to run SimMap Pro and MobiFlight, there's issues. So you got to pick one or the other. The only reason I'm running MobiFlight is because I'm using the Fans 2 CDU on the PMDG, and WinWing does not have, to my knowledge yet, a Fans 2 software for the 747 panel that they have, which I really wish they would, because the 747 FMC that they sell is 99.9% one-to-one to the Fans 2 CDU in the 7.3. The only thing that's different is the nav-rad button is there instead of an N1 button. So you would think that they'd be able to make a profile so you could just run SimApp Pro with everything, and then Rtrhobby or RowsFire software for the panel. So that's all I got to say. I wish I could have. That's what I wanted to talk to Wind Control about when I was at Expo, because people are like, well, we got the Fans 2 CDU from PMDG now, but we don't have a WinWing S CDU. Well, technically we do. It's the 747 panel that they make for the CDU, but you just need to bind it. So Irish Wheel said you have issues with shipping. So again, I don't, this panel, I don't know when it officially was shipped to me. It showed up on Monday. I would imagine it does take some time to ship. My panel wasn't damaged, but I do have one, like I said, one fuel pump light. My left aft fuel pump light does not illuminate, and I don't know if that's something that I can fix, but I wouldn't want to open the panel and cause issues or void warranties or anything like that. But that's something that, you'd have to take up with them to see if they can help you out. But I always get the feeling they don't allow you to do that to get you to buy more wind control device for each flight. Yeah, Flight Sim School, that's probably exactly correct. But here's the thing. That would just, how many people in chat, I guarantee you there's probably maybe one or two of you, if that, have the Wind Control 747 FMC. Right? So here's my 747 FMC panel. I bought it because I knew it matched the Fans 2 CDU, except this one button right here, NavRad, should be an N1 limit button. But that would help them sell. They don't need to make a whole nother panel. They just need to sell this to sell more of them. And I bet people would buy them. So I don't think they're going to come out with one that's gray. Now, here's what's funny is I actually had, you talk about mismatching panels and stuff. So I flew a 7.3 the other day where the what was it? It was, the ISIS. The ISIS was out of a 777. It was that 777 brown. It was clearly out of a 777. A mismatched panel config. I also flew one that had an O2 mask that I'm fairly certain came out of a 777 as well, because this whole thing here was 777 brown. So it'd be pretty cool to have not cool. It wouldn't bother me at all to have my 777, or excuse me, my 747 or 777 brown CDU just to match the Fans 2. If you take a look at these panels here together, you can see it's exactly the same. Init, route, departure arrival, ATC, VNav, fixed legs, hold, FMC, COM, prog, menu, N1 limit. That's all it needs to change. Is NavRad is N1 limit, previous and next page. So, if Wind Control can come out and make an update to SimApp Pro where my 747 FMC, this is not the 777. The 777 has 2 buttons off, I think. I think the 777 has 2 buttons off. But the 747 panel, which this one is, I keep saying panel, I mean CDU. The 747 CDU literally only has 1 button off. And it's N1 versus NavRad, so it's easy to remember. But yeah, it would be cool if Wind Control can come up with that fix or with that software, because I would 100% run SimApp Pro over MobiFlight. I've had way less issues with SimApp Pro than I have with MobiFlight. I have both the 7.4 FMC and the 7.3 FMC. It's been a nightmare getting both working at the same time. Oh, why would you get them working at the same time, Darth Rust? Are you trying to get them both working? You mean like you have Why would you get them both working the same? Why do you need two FMCs? Do you have a maybe you have a cockpit then that you're setting up? I could see where that would be a headache. I would just leave one off, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that'd be a pain. 787 cockpit would look 20 times better if it was beige. 787 cockpit's mid, dude. Can we get a Jackson Hole flight with the New World Update 22? They modeled the airport. Well, I have an old... You know what? We could probably try 602 Simmer. What time is it? 12:30? I would really love to do a Falcon 50 flight out of Jackson Hole tonight. I'm really going to try 602 Simmer. I'm going to talk to... Like I said, I got to finish this stream up and try to take the dog to the vet here before the weekend. And then I promised my girls we're basically having party all weekend. So... I say girls, my girls and boys, sons. And I think we're doing rib, or we're doing tri-tip tonight. I think we're doing a tri-tip tonight. So, yeah, tri-tip tonight. We're doing party ribs tomorrow on the smoker for the 4th. And then I'm probably going to do a pulled pork as well, side by side. So, because I'm going to be gone. I'm probably going to get called again on Monday for another freaking 4-day trip, which is just it's burning me out, y'all. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. My goodness, I knew my quality of life was above every other airline pilot in the world when I worked for Spirit, but it is just like exclamation point on top of that. I don't know how you do this job as a young or with a young family. Because you're just, it's so much, dude. I haven't worked a 4-day trip. Before I started my new employer, I hadn't worked a 4-day trip in probably 8 years. I did a few when I was new, and then I just didn't, I was able to avoid them. But my goodness, I mean, it's just like, okay, gone for 4 days, and it's a long 4 days. Sometimes it's 5 days with the commute, right? Sometimes it can be 6 days with the commute, depending on how it works out, but it's like, okay, bye, and then you're home for 48 hours, and then, you're back on the road. It's like, I don't know, man. I caution anybody that has young family it's very, very challenging. Very challenging. It's mid, but I wouldn't be substantially less mid if it was Boeing beige instead of gray. Oh, yeah, that's what's going on in the smoker. Oh, and smoked cream cheese, Diabetic Lad. How can I forget? Smoked cream cheese all the way around. Our young military guys go away for months at a time. You can do it. I mean, I know I could do it, but I'm at the point in my life where I don't want it. Like, I don't want to. I've already sacrificed that part of my life to set my life up the way I wanted to, and then, when that gets taken away from you and you got to start over after 10 plus years, I'm at a point now where I'm less willing to sacrifice things that I was willing to sacrifice before. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's where the shift is. Like, when I first started in aviation, I knew the early years would suck. That's just a given, right? So, everyone has a different plan and a different method on how they're going to attack that, right? So for me, grind when you're young so you can set the foundation. So when you start having kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, you're there with them. That was my plan, right? I was successful in doing that until the operator went out of business. So now, starting over again, when I didn't want to start over, that's the problem. When I'm 23 years old, I know I'm going to sacrifice holidays and weekends and whatever. That's just part of the gig. But when you're pushing 40 and your kids are wanting you around, I'm not as willing to sacrifice that stuff anymore. Miss V1 is the GOAT. She is, man. Without her, it would not be possible, man. Without her, it would not be possible. And I was listening to a podcast. This is getting off topic. This is more of a podcast discussion now. But people are like, well, how do you have such a good relationship with your wife when you go home? Because I talked to a lot of guys that are like, man, they come home and their wife's like, okay, your kids, I'm out of here. Like, do your thing. people say marriage is 50-50. It's to be successful, I think, in an industry like this, or even in the military, especially in the military where you're gone for months plus at a time, or any occupation where you're going to be gone a lot. It's not, we got to stop looking at it as 50-50. It's 100% of the time. There are going to be times when you're going to do way more than just half. You know, it's not a zero sum game. You're not going to just do half the work. And there's going to be times when you're going to do very little work because you're gone, and then you be back for 24 hours and you got to recover and repack and leave again, where your significant other is going to be doing more than 50% of the work. It's, you both have to give 100% when you can, because you can't just look at it as a 50-50. You do this, I'll do this. I think that's part of the key for us, is just realizing that, hey, when I can, I'm going to do as much as I can. So anyway, that's off my soapbox for that. Hopefully we can maintain our relationship. I'm sure we will. I've never had a doubt about it. I mean, Miss V1 is, you guys, for those of you that met her at the expo, I mean, you probably could tell if you talked to her for more than 2 minutes that she's got that special kind of personality. Never sacrifice fishing, Al W. That is true, my man. That is true. Joseph, what's up, man? What's up, V1? I am type 1 diabetic, and I've been working on getting my first class special issuance. My AMA in the Houston, and it is phenomenal. Hope getting approved by the FAA ASAP. Joseph, that is so cool, man. You know I've got a special, you know, I always, excuse me, hiccups. When it comes to diabetes and type 1 diabetic getting your medical, that hits home for me because I taught Pietro, I don't want to drop his last name, but you can look him up if you need to. So when I was an instructor, good friend of mine, all he wanted to do is be a pilot. So we, you know, I instructed him for a little bit. I taught him how to do night landings. I filled in for his full-time instructor. I knew him personally on a personal level. This kid was living, breathing, everything aviation. He got slapped with diabetes and type 1, I believe. And then at the time it was, hey, that was a no-go for flying, right? So he just refused to take no. He went and lobbied in front of Congress. He was pushing for all these programs and testing to say we can still fly airplanes as type 1, get a special issuance. And he kept going, and he actually got it changed to where you can fly with that. Then I watched him go from building time to getting hired at a regional to getting hired at a legacy carrier. And I couldn't be more happy for the guy, because he's just someone that, you know, would not take no for an answer. And the door that he opened for so many other aviators is just, it's awesome. So that's good, man. And keep pressing, and we'll see you out on the line here real soon, man. That's pretty cool. I just wrapped up a 3-day call stint, came back from Bogota 2 days, got home at 1 a.m. on the 1st, literally at the airport now for a start of a 4-day tomorrow. Couldn't do it without mama. The reset jet, that is exactly it, my man. That is exactly it, dude. That's exactly it. Classic Jets Implant says, I hear you, man. My first marriage didn't survive 1 year. Thankfully, no kids. Thankfully, Classic Jets. Good to see you, man. Hope all is well. Well, that's why, you know, you got the second one now, right? So, good deal, Classic Jets Implant. Early 90s, too. 13K that first year. I know, man. That's, yeah, my first year, it wasn't early 90s. I don't want to date myself or yourself. My first year, because of my commuting and where I got based, I ended up losing, like, I think I lost $7,000 net my first year. I got paid, I think I got paid, a lump sum was like 23 grand my first year. And then that was before taxes. So then after taxes and after commuting expenses, I had ate into my savings. I think I ate into my savings like 3 grand or something like that. So I lost $3,000 to work the first year. But yeah, it was 20, I think my first year was 23 or 24 grand before taxes, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Let's go ahead and set up for the arrival into Washington National. We're fast approaching TOD. I don't want to fly past it. So let's set up a lower altitude. We'll just set 19 for now. Let's go ahead and bring in the charts here for PMDG. Electronic flight bag, DCA. We're going to be on the Freedom arrival. Uh-oh. There we go. Freedom 6 RNAV. We'll zoom you in here. Freedom 6 RNAV takes us down. We're going to land to the south 8,000 feet. So let's set 8,000. 8,000 is set. We're about to hit TOD. Let's see what our VNAV descent is going to be. 79,300. Let's do 78 and 300 hard altitude in the box. Execute. Hopefully we got that before we hit the descent point. Retard VNAV speed. Here we go. It's coming down now. Dang it, I was too late. That put us behind the 8 ball. We'll catch up to it here. We'll crack the speed right just a little bit. I was too late on that, on the descent modification. That's all right. It was planning on going down at 7.9 Mach. All right, 280 at Honor is set. 310. We're going to set up for the RNAV, a.k.a. River Visual. 19er. We'll follow the RNAV path inbound, but we'll just go ahead and fly it the way we're supposed to fly it. We'll keep the RNP on there. Matter of fact, let's go prog page 4, and let's set up 0.3. And we'll do a 125. This will really get our VNAV unhappy, but we'll do it anyway. We'll do a 0.5, or excuse me, 0.3 and 125 ANP. Or RNP rather. So that is set. We'll go back to nav status, page 2. We'll deselect VOR updating. That is done. Init ref, we're going to plan the flaps 40, 135. We'll update that into DCA. As far as the minimums go, we can set an RNP. Since we're doing RNP 0.3, we'll do a DA of 550. So we'll set up 550 here in the barrel. All right, 550 is set. We're LNAV VNAV path down to 8,000 feet. We're caught back up on it. We'll stow the speed brakes. I cracked them there for a second. We'll turn the overhead panel off right now. We don't need it at this time. So 8,000 is set for the bottom, 550, LNAV VNAV path, 78 on the descent. Final approach course into DC. We're on an RNAV. We'll just set the runway course here. DCA. Runway 19 is 187. We'll set 187 both sides. 187 is set both sides down to 8. That checks. Once we get cleared for the approach, RNAV Zulu mins will be 550. We'll put that in the FCU. All right, that all looks good. We'll put the EFB back over here. It's kind of unfortunate we're doing this midday, but it is what it is. We're on the path. We're looking good. We're transitioning to 300 knots. Down we go. Have a wonderful stream. Off to the World Cup. Who's playing today, Open Chord? Probably already left. Any good games in the World Cup today? Guys, I've watched more soccer in the last 2 days than I've ever watched in my whole life. It's kind of fun, but not really. It's better than watching nothing. But offsides penalties are dumb. I was watching that Portugal game last night. I have no dog in the fight, but you could clearly tell they wanted Portugal to play Spain. Croatia was robbed, dude. It's definitely, from someone who has a complete outsider's perspective, but I watch football pretty religiously, and I know that there's corruption in that, and there's obviously corruption in baseball. It's welcoming to see that there's corruption in soccer. because it was very clear there's a lot of corruption going on. Well, there's a microchip that determined there was deceleration because it touched a strand of his hair. Yeah, right. No, there wasn't. They just wanted Ronaldo to keep playing for views. Anyway, Argentina, Cabo Verde should be fun. Really? Or Cape Verde. Is Argentina? Is that where Messi plays? Is that Messi guy? FIFA makes the NFL look honest. Really? Okay. See, I'm learning these things. Like I said, I watched more soccer in the last 2 days than I have my whole life. So I'm a very new soccer watcher. It's just because there's nothing else on TV. Okay, so Messi plays for Argentina. Okay, well that'll be cool. I want to watch that one. When is that one on, Turk? There's corruption, collusion in all sports, and it's only gotten worse with all sports being betting ads. Oh, totally agree, Flight Sim School. Totally agree. Totally agree, man. 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, cool. So it'll be 5 o'clock freedom time. Down we go on the Freedom 1, chat. Should we? I guess we'll leave it at morning time, but that's pretty mid. I mean, we had a beautiful sunrise takeoff. I feel like we should do a sunset landing, but we won't do that. We'll leave it real time. We'll see what happens. We'll watch the replay in sunset or something. Because doesn't Flight Sim have fireworks at night? I'm pretty sure there's fireworks in D.C. at night on the 4th of July. I told my buddy I'm all in on the World Cup, but once it ends, I won't watch any other soccer leagues. Yeah, I can see that too. I mean, I tried to watch when the World Cup first started. Like, before it was the all 32, I can't remember what y'all call it, but before the 32 set of games, I watched a YouTube video. I was like, okay, how does the World Cup work? Like, how do they rank? And I watched a YouTube video on it for 3 minutes. Are you freaking kidding me? I could not keep up with, like, how you get the teams to where they're going to be. And you got to do this and that, and if they win this, they do that, and if you don't have that, it goes off of this, and if you don't have the points, it goes on the total points minus the points scored. If it doesn't go on that, then it goes to yellow cards, and then if it's not that, it's... I'm like, what? Okay. Count me out on the first round, but 32, 16, and then the finals, yeah, I'll watch that. Maybe. Mickey G is in the house, my man. Yes, we have an overhead panel, Mickey G. We have an overhead panel. Matter of fact, this one's for you, Mickey G. Seatbelts are coming on. There you go, Mickey G. Seatbelt sign is on. Please return to your seats. Mickey G has arrived. I couldn't sound more Texan right now. What's that? What'd I say? X-Plane 12 has fireworks. Not sure about 2024. Oh, well, pilot perspective. I'm all in on X-Plane, dude. When that 707 drops, Nimbus 707, I am all in, man. We're going back to X-Plane 12 for a week. If the plane is good. I hope it's good. If the plane is half as good as the wing modeling and texturing and animation in the turbulence, we'll fly X-Plane 12 for a week. No doubt about it. And that Falcon 8X from Aerobasque. Yes. So X-Plane 12, it is on the menu. We just don't know when we're going to be eating. But for those of you that have been holding out for X-Plane, have no fear. We'll be back in the sim. I'm just waiting for one of those 2 airplanes to drop. How does the World Cup work? Simple answer: money. That's probably very accurate. That's probably accurate. Ryan, thank you for the $5 super chat again, man. Had to top my previous. Oh my goodness, we're now at 34,000 feet. Checking in, passing over Gander right now. Always makes me think of Swiss Air 111. Yes, it does. Every time I hear Gander on the radio, every time I Gander control. Yeah, man, same thing. Ryan Gen 6 for the $5 super chat. The stream channel record for super chat at altitude, 34,000 feet. I'm going to have to make a note of that. I can't believe you can super chat from the airplane Wi-Fi, man. That JetBlue's got some good Wi-Fi. I can barely watch YouTube on half the commutes that I'm on. I'll try to want the Wi-Fi. Actually, as of late, it's gotten better. Ironically, the narrow-body fleet has good Wi-Fi. It's the older, like the 777s and stuff. They don't have the good Wi-Fi. I always seem to have issues. But thank you, man. Appreciate you, Ryan. A new record, 34,000 foot super chat. Stat that. Microsoft at fireworks for Houston or Dallas? Really, Mitchell Taylor? Bombtech. Who else has proudly not watched 1 second of the World Cup besides me? Just you, Bombtech. Oh, 602 Simmer. Maybe it was 2020 that I'm thinking about. Maybe 2020 had fireworks, not 24. Any builds? Is Reese doing the 707 on Microsoft? I'll be interested in that, but it's still going to be a ways out. I want to see, you know what I've been, guys, you know what I've been itching to fly again? L1011. But I also have a problem because I want to fly the MD-11 with the new sound pack. I want to do a Miami to Flamingo Bonaire. What's the name of that airport? First time I've ever been there in my life as well. I can't think of the airport, but it's Flamingo something. Bonaire. It's not, I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just, it's a nice little island airport. Come in over the water. There's no crazy approach or anything like that, but I think that'd be a fun flight to do on stream. It's like a mini semi-haul flight. Miami to Bonaire. Trijet streaming day, Falcon, 7.2, L10, and MD-11. That sounds amazing to me. Is this mounted overhead? BKG. I do not have it mounted overhead. I'll show you a reference. I have it mounted on a VESA mount right now. So here's my setup, right? And I have it sitting vertical, slightly angled down on a VESA mount monitor. I believe this is originally a monitor stand. And at first I didn't know if I would like it next to me vertically, but I'm actually liking it. I would almost like it better if I turned it more away from me so I could see it at an angle. The one problem that I'm having specifically is you see this bar right here. This is, you see this? This is my microphone stand, and my view is impaired to the PAX panel because of my microphone stand. So it's not my final setup yet. But it's small enough that it will fit just fine on your desk if you are going to set it up vertically like this. So, all right, we're coming out of 18,000 feet. Let's do a magic barrel ref. 3007. Wing lights are coming on. Logo lights are coming on. We're going to seatbelt sign is already on. We're going to go runway turnoffs and taxi lights will come on. I love doing that. We can do real world lighting configuration here. And we'll do a little descent here, ladies and gentlemen. Just descend out of 18,000 feet on our final descent to the Washington Reagan Airport, only 75 miles from the field. We'll be touching down here in about 10 minutes. That seatbelt sign is on. It's going to remain on for the duration of the flight. Do I station main seat until the aircraft drives safely after take? On behalf of America's 250th birthday, we welcome you to Washington Reagan. Flight attendants, please prepare for arrival. Oh yeah, that's it. That's it, chat. I love it. Would it be a big project to install a cockpit set of V1? Jaffo 326. What I want to do is, in a perfect world, Jaffo, I want to have a 737 cockpit setup, and then I want to have a generic cockpit setup. So if I could get a second computer running, I would set it up for a 737, put the overhead panel on, try to get a new set up the throttles, get the FMC. I want to do kind of what XP72 has done, but he went all in on his Airbus. I want to go all in on the 7.3 cockpit, and then I want to have one desk set up for generic. It's my own, not a gripe, it's my own personal preference. I think cockpit setups are great, but for me, I love flying such a different variety of airplanes. I don't know if I would enjoy being in a 737 cockpit or an Airbus cockpit and then flying my turbine Duke around. You know what I mean? So I feel like, for my personal preference, the perfect setup would be a dedicated 737 cockpit and then a generic modular desk setup, kind of like I have right now, where I can fly all kinds of stuff. nothing is mounted permanently, or nothing is set up to the point where I can't enjoy flying something else. So I think in my perfect world, I'll have a 737 setup, and then I will have a generic pit. I might actually just keep this the same and then set up for the 7.3. Key 6, my man, is in the house. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, fly me out. We'll go to work on building an overhead mount. Key 6, my man. That'd be a lot of fun, dude. Hope all is well. Dude, Key 6, I was up in Sacramento. I freaking love the weather up there, dude. I love the West Coast, man. Freaking love it, dude. Hope all is well. Key 6, thanks for the $5 super chat. Actually, oh, you know what, Key 6, I actually might be out your way soon. I'll let you know if it comes to fruition. We got a couple things I gotta iron out with the wife first, but keep an eye on her DMs, because, you know, I may or may not ever respond, but I may send one. Actually, I may text you. I got your number. Joe Plain says, Duke when? I don't know, right? All right, we're on the descent, 13.7 for 8,000 feet. Everything looks good here. We will never, is the next fix, forget. Let me get flight recorder ready. Yeah, West Coast, best coast, man. I totally agree. The East Coast is just, I mean, there's some kind of cool things. So I'll stutter here as I launch replay tool. But nothing beats the views, the landmarks, the weather. The weather's a big part of it. I would say less sharks, but I think someone just got eaten by a white shark off the coast of Santa Cruz. But man, I am completely solidified in never ever living in Florida. Not that I ever wanted to, but that one girl that just got eaten by an alligator, that's tragic. Can't imagine living in a state where I have to worry about walking next to the lake because I might get eaten by an alligator. Count me out. I don't know how XP does it, man. We need to do a King Air stream or some other turboprop. BombTech, what do you think about the ATR, man? I've been thinking about getting the ATR up and running with the new update. Problem is, it doesn't have a new sound pack, so we'd have to run with the default sounds. But I don't know. I've been kind of thinking about firing up that old ATR. If I had $1 bajillion, I'd definitely live in the Bay Area again. I hear you, man. All right, drag required. Spoid brakes are coming out. Getting ready to go through 10,000 feet. Oh no, I need to go to my overhead view to turn the lights on. No, you don't. Actually, taxi light stays off. Those lights are on. That's on. Taxi light stays off for our clear to land. All right, and we're southwest, so let's go ahead and move these to Cont. And we're below 10. Sterile sign is on. Let's do a before landing checklist, please. Before landing checklist, approach briefings complete, seatbelts on, PA's complete, recall, we didn't check it, but I believe it's checked. Auto brakes. Auto brakes. 3. HUD in op, radios and displays. We just hit SEP 2, September 11th. We'll stand by on radios and displays until we go direct to Derek. Actually, we can probably go direct to Derek now. That'll be the start of the approach, right? Or, let's do this. Southwest 357, proceed direct to Freedom. Happy birthday, America. Direct Freedom, cleared for the RNAV Zulu, 19 approach. All right, direct to Freedom, cleared RNAV Zulu, 19 approach, Southwest 357. We'll go ahead and set 600 feet for the minimums. We're LNAV, VNAV, path. 600 is set, lights are set, radios and displays set and cross-checked. Down we go. A little more speed brake actions. I've been eyeing the Bondurante. Oh, classic jet sim pilot. I'm in for it. Thank you for reminding me. Jeff Favignano streamed it, and I was watching it pretty closely. I definitely think it's worth checking out. I actually owned the 2020 version. This one, they've done a lot of work, a lot of refinement. I have no idea if the flight model is realistic, but I like the panel, I like the textures, and the sounds are pretty good. So I definitely am going to check it out. I just don't know when. Maybe you should drop a video on it and convince me. But I have been eyeing that one over there on Favignano's channel. We got a young gator in the pond in our neighborhood. Welcome to Florida. Count me out, Mr. Martini. Count me out, Chief. The Dolphin. I did see Two-Tone Murphy flying the Dolphin. Problem is, highball, I can't fly helos on my streaming PC because I have a dedicated helo rig at my house, and it's just too much fun to fly them over there. I drive myself nuts trying to fly them with a yoke and the throttle quadrant or something, you know. Like I've got the, I was hardcore into helos and DCS back in the day for years. I mean, I probably got 5,000 hours in the DCS Huey and Apache each. So I've been so spoiled with that. It makes me hard. It'd be hard to stream it. Now I could make a video on it. Like we did. A couple adventures of Duke 6. I will say that Taog hangar Huey was pretty fun to fly in 2024. You know, DCS is still king, no question in terms of flight model and helicopters. But I was pretty impressed. So I'd be keen on trying another helicopter to see if what kind of difference it would make. You know. All right, we're on the descent. We're on the path. Let's open the window. Let's go ahead and start reducing speed. Southwest 357, reduce speed, maintain 190 knots. All right, 190 selected. We're going to get below 250 here. And we'll go ahead and go flaps 1. Flaps 1. PMDG flat model is awesome, man. Keep slowing down, staying on the path. We're looking good. Flaps 5. I love this livery with the, look at the little extra flap grime on there. Southwest 357, runway 19, clear to land. Clear to land. All right. Taxi lights on. We'll go full screen cam on the panel. We're up here. A little bit more speed here. Am I going to fly the 777 anytime soon? Captain Iceland Air, when I got back from a custom, or from I don't know where I was, Liberia, I was coming up through customs and I was looking out the window and I was right over the top of that American 777-300 with the Centennial livery on it. May have to fly that here in the stream pretty soon. I love the painted elevator. I didn't realize they painted the elevator. Let's come back to 170 knots. All right, below 200, flaps 10, please. There's the river. River's in sight. Reagan traffic, Southwest 357 at 3,900. We're on the RNAV visual 19. Any traffic in DC, please advise. There's the outflow valve opening up. Let's go ahead and keep bringing it back. Let's go 160 now. You guys want a yoke cam for this? See if I can. Let's see. I might be able to just swing it around like so. Recording is on. Special low pass for the 250th. Ooh, you know what? If I... Oh, man, I don't think I have the time. How about this? Butter or go around?
Breaking national traffic.
If
Sam
we don't butter,
250.
I'll go around.
Coming through 3000, river visual 19 DTA.
I'm going to try to butter it, though. Chris DeBlanc with a $50 super chat. Chris, my man, thank you so much for a massive super chat, my friend. I'm going to reset my speed here, 134. Happy 4th to D1 Nation and all the prestigious pilots out there. My man, yes indeed. Best community in flight sim, have ribs, a cigar, and bourbon to tend to. Cheers, y'all. Hey, thank you so much. Oh, man, we're on a vector here. I didn't even set up. Hold on. Chris LeBlanc is getting us all jacked up. Direct to Sunny, execute. We're in VNAV speed on the path. Oh, brother, we need to fly this thing. Chris LeBlanc, thank you so much. Whoa there. Autopilot's off. Flight. Thank you so much, man, for the $50 super chat, dude. I appreciate you. Very kind. The prestigious pilots indeed, my man. Prestigious pilots indeed. We're going to be, I want to do a contrail 50, Falcon 50 stream later. We're trying to get on it. Flaps 10. Yeah, we got it. Flaps 25. Well, we got it. Flaps 30. Follow the river, and flaps 40. Flight director's on. Purely visual. We might end up being too high on this. Oh geez, I forgot I turned the auto throttle off. Definitely a little bit high here. We may end up going around just for you, Chris LeBlanc. This will be a cool right turn here. Look at the monument. My favorite view in all of Flight Sim. Looking at the DoubleTree downtown. That is sweet. We're on speed, on path. We're looking good. We saved that. Reagan traffic, Southwest 357, short final 19. $700 check at the marker there. I'm going to be about 500 coming over the bridge. We're looking good. 2 whites, 2 reds, right on speed. Keep coming down. Get a little bit high there.
Approaching minimums. 500. Minimums.
Continue.
400. 300.
Well, we may get a stutter because it's 2020 scenery.
200.
Ooh, little balloon burble there.
100.
Well, that's quite showing 4 whites. I don't think we're that high.
50. 30. 20. 10.
Oh, let's go around. You wanted to see a go around. Let's go around. Let's do a bulk landing. I want to touch down and then go around. Let's go around. Go around. Go around flaps.
Breaking traffic, Sam
Positive
250,
rate, you're
short
up.
final 19, Reagan.
Southwest 357 going around. Rebuild the automation here. Didn't set the mist. Flaps. 1. 6 is a little much. 4,000. 3 for 4. And flaps up. 3 for 4. Bugging 210. All right, MCP speed, LNAV altitude acquire 4 thou, entering the hold at Bacon. That one's for you, Chris LeBlanc. We got totally distracted on that approach. That's all right. We'll have a pretty sweet go around with Toga thrust coming out of there. 11 her 4.
Breaking traffic, Sam 250, clear runway 19. We actually got ours on the ground.
Oh, yeah, but you left parts over the threshold. All right, we're in the hole. We'll do a turn here. Let's do a quick after takeoff. All right, that's coming up. That's off. Everything else looks good on the overhead, which we have next to us. Let's go ahead and break from the hold. Southwest 357, turn right. 270, vectors for the final. Right turn 270, vectors for final, Southwest 357. I'm gonna, I guess I'll just I'll let it continue to record. I do have say intentions. I'm still setting it up. We might use it in the Falcon 50 stream here in a minute. All right, let's resequence our box. Let's do this again here. I'm gonna exit, hold, down. All right, legs. I'm gonna go over here, departure arrival, and that button. 019. Direct to Derek. Execute LNAV. We're going back to Derek. We're probably not going to go all the way out there. Let me stop and save that recording. It's KDCA go around. All right, that recording is saved. And actually, we're going to go direct Sunny at 2,000. So let's go ahead and descend down now to 2,000 feet. Level change down to 2. Southwest 357, fly heading. Fly heading 360. All right, 360. We're going to vector ourselves to Sunny. Let's shoot it off of Sunny. There we go. All right, down to 2. We're set up. Let's try this again. I'm definitely getting a performance hit around Rtrhobby, man. This DC scenery is always heavy on frames, and I even have. You know what's crazy is I even have.
Breaking traffic, Southwest 123 radio check.
I even have loud and clear. I even have auto FPS running.
Okay, we had a radio drop out there, but we're clearly active, and yeah, Sam 250 left parts all over the place.
That's off-scheduled descent. That's associated. DC traffic, Reagan traffic, Southwest 357. We're on a left downwind for rejoining the RNAV visual 19 South or DC traffic, Reagan traffic. Get it together. Fabianos, what's up, man?
Caution pod.
Uh-oh. Look at my sim stuttering.
UK traffic, Southwest 404. Clear of active, runway 19 at Alpha. Also, no FOD reported on runway.
Show off. Jeff says, I guess I'm the only one that wants to fly the Goodyear blimp proper, but there is nothing on the internet from I&I or anyone else yet. Flying blind.
Yeah, you hear that? No pod.
I was just doing it for the views.
2,500.
Jeff, I was watching you flying around the blimp yesterday. That was pretty funny, man. You couldn't get it to stop on when you were trying to land it. You know, I actually knew a guy that went and flew the Goodyear blimp. I should see if I still have his number. Connect you to. He was a blimp driver for the longest time. I don't know if he still flies it or not, but yeah, he left my flight school. We were instructors together, and he left to go take a job flying the blimp. But it's pretty crazy, man, how you have like the thrusters and all that stuff. All right, let's go ahead and reset up for approach without screwing. Let's do this one for real. Let's do this one for real. Coming back to 180 knots. Flaps 5, please. You should see, is there a hangar for the blimp in San Jose modeled? At was it Moffett Field? Is Key 6 still here? I think Moffett Field has the big blimp hangar, doesn't it? All right, we're 2,000. We're coming back to 180 knots. Flaps 10, please. Fuel check. 7.3. Reagan traffic, Southwest 357, 2,000 feet, left down. We're going to be turning into sunny for the RNAV 19er. Full stop. Yeah, it's at Moffett Field, thrust set. Yeah, I wonder, that'd be pretty fun if they had a hangar you could try to get the airplane in and out of, or the blimp. Jeff, I'm going to get, so I have Say Intentions up and running. I'm going to, thanks for your help, by the way, man, send those videos. I appreciate it. I'm going to, like I said, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I don't know if I'm going to stream the Falcon after the stream or tomorrow, but we are going to use Say Intentions on the next stream. I'm pretty much with you in terms of I'm being sold on it. It does take some understanding, though. There is a significant learning curve to Say Intentions. Like, I don't even know how to do the multiplayer stuff yet, but just in terms of the radio communication and the tempo of everything, I'm 100% with you, man. I think it is, it's way more than just an ATC program. Southwest 357, proceed direct sunny, maintain 2,000 steps, cleared ILS, or correction, cleared RNAV 19er approach. All right, 2 is set. We're looking good. It's not, I'll tell you what it's not going to do. It's going to give me a hard time intercepting that course, though, isn't it? I'm going to redirect it now. All right, LNAV, VNAV set minimums 5, let's see. 600, VNAV, LNAV, direct sunny. We're in VNAV speed for a minute, that's all right. Dougal McTavish, hope all is well, my friend. Hope you're having a good weekend. Glad to have you on board, my man. All right, let's not screw this one up, all right, chat?
Caution, terrain.
She's going to struggle on that sunny turn.
Caution, terrain.
Why is she
Caution,
not in
terrain.
path?
Caution, terrain.
She should be at 16.6 there.
Caution.
Terrain.
Terrain.
Terrain. Pull up.
I don't know what that was all about. That's the gear horn. I don't know why she wouldn't go back into path on that one. Alright, flight director's off.
Glide
We'll fly it
slope.
for real. Glide slope? We don't even have a glide slope.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Settle down. Flaps 15.
Glide slope.
Arm green light. 900. We're alright. We're not even that low. 900 across the buildings. We're looking good. It's supposed to be at 954 right here, so we're like 50 feet low. Alright, we'll make this one real tight for the DoubleTree. Alright, flaps 40. Below line, spoilers armed, green light, gear down, green. Flaps 40, green light. Cleared to land, 19. Oh, 139 is the speed. I thought that was a little bit fast. 139. There we go.
Approaching minimums.
I feel like 139 is a little bit fast.
Minimums.
That deck angle's a little bit shallow for a flat 40 at 139 there.
400.
All right, here we go. In the turn, looking good.
300. 200. 100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Deployed. 80. Manual brakes. Runways for turnoff. Check. 60 knots. Much better. Much better than the second time. But man, the performance, my performance is so bad at this airport. That's why I don't ever really fly in here unless it's 4th of July, man. I mean, we have auto FPS running. And I'm getting 31 FPS right now. Welcome to Rtrhobby. Alright, disarm it, clean it up. Southwest is actually over here, right? Alright, where are we going? We are going over here. Keep cleaning up. Alright, let's do a flaps up after landing. Lights are coming off. Taxi light can stay on. APU's coming up. Start switch is off. I love doing that on the overhead, which I should have done with the camera on. We gotta wait for the engines to cool. Oh, there you go. APU's coming up on the buses. Wing lights coming off. That's off. Logo can stay off. We'll do a full overhead shutdown too on this one. Auto brake off. Recording is stopped. All the gates are full. I guess we'll go park around the backside with Air Force One over there. Look at that. APU's on the bus. Chop 2, please. Two's coming down. We don't want to have two two packs on a single bleed. So what we'll do in this particular case, we'll go ISO closed, and we'll just turn the left pack off. We'll be without air here for a minute until we get the 2-minute warm up on the APU. But what we would do now, let's say I was a good FO and we started that APU right after landing. Now we go APU bleed on, left pack on. So now we've split the pack system. So the APU is providing us air. I did that backwards. Well, I did it backwards because I was thinking that. See, that's all right. Now we're just on max cool. So now we'll go max cool. Packs on high on APU with engine bleeds off. I meant to isolate the other side when we shut down number 2. But it's cool to do all that with the overhead there. So now we're on a max cool because it's about 125 degrees in DC. So we got packs in high off the APU bleed only. That's our max cool configuration right there. That's probably a drive light. Hydraulics. Yep, drive light, hydraulic, low pressure. All right, we're coming into the bay. Taxi light is off. Making a right turn here, gate 4. Park brake is set. We're on the buses. So red, white, and blue. Off. Blue. Stand them up and shut them down. Number 1's coming down. Then we'll come over here. We'll go transponders coming off. Then technically up to the overhead. So overhead flow shut down. Anti-collision lights coming off. Window heats coming off. Probe heats coming off. Emergency exit light switches off. We'll flip the ignition over to the next side for the next guy to fly it. We're steady. It's daytime. Let's kill the logo light. And we can do ADIRs off, off, off. Shut down checklist. Please. Oh, sorry. Fuel pumps as well. There we go. Shutdown checklist, please. I'm going to run the shutdown checklist. That is so cool being able to run that on the freaking overhead. That is so cool. Then we connect ground power and put them on the bus. I kind of want to do it just because we have an overhead. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and connect the jetway and request ground power. And then we'll use the overhead to finish the shutdown. Oh, look at the new pit power simulation. What? Look at this. Now that is cool. Haha. That is cool. Now, last time I did this, we WASM crashed. Should we try it? We didn't WASM, but we tried the ground pilot call. All right. So now looking at the overhead, we have ground power. Yeah, it would be cool to have, you know, just even that little, like have a little blue light right there so you could tell that ground power was available. Ground power is available. And we could also get the no smoking off if that was what you had. Then you run the shutdown checklist. Should we secure it? Let's secure it. Oh, I don't have the secure checklist with me. Essentially, though, secure checklist. So these are all off. APU is we're going to turn the bleed off. We're going to shut the APU down. APU's coming off. You'll see the needle spool down. We'll keep the packs on, or excuse me, keep the bleeds on, packs off, isolation valve auto, recircs off, trim airs coming off, and then we'll go cabin utility switch off, and then we'll go hit the bus light out by the flight attendant panel. Oh, forgot hydraulics. Boom, hydraulics off, and then battery switch off. There we go. Now she's essentially secured. So there is a, I don't know. Thank you for jump seating with us today. Go ahead and get back in there. Thank you, thank you. Now, oh, wait a second. Hold on. So I'm going to press this and ground power off. And then technically that would keep the one blue. We have it. We have one blue light. All right, so that is actually the secure checklist done with the ground service bus. Very cool. Chef's kiss. All right. I like the panel, y'all. Shoot. I didn't think I would love it as much as I loved it. I mean, I know I was going to like it, but being able to work the most, I guess, yeah, it's the most active panel in modern aviation, right? I mean, the Airbus, you have a nice overhead panel as well, but you don't interact with it much in normal operations. The 220, you hardly interact with the overhead panel. I'm trying to think. The 170, 190 is probably the most minimalistic panel you interact with in real life. I don't know what else is out there. I don't know how the 7.8 or triple overhead panel interaction is. I'm pretty sure the 737 overhead is one of the long-standing panels that you have the most interaction with real world. So having that here in the sim is just a ton of fun, an absolute ton of fun. Real quick, let's just listen to the sounds. I'm going to set the panel, and then we're going to do replays and replay states. So let's go into regular reset mode. So that's going to go there. That's going to go to nav. That should be a nav. Yacht Amber can stay on. We'll get our fuel tank pumps on for replay. That's coming on. Let's go ahead, and those will be on the bus. Emergency exit lights are on. We'll get our lights on. Get that back over to where it was so it doesn't flicker and replay. That's coming on. That's normal. That's the ADIRs on battery. We'll get those on. We'll get probe heats, window heats on. Let's get recircs on, trim air on, packs into auto, auto. Normal configuration for that. Overhead panel is set. So now we'll go in here, we'll go FS actions, or excuse me, PMDG setup, panel state, load. Let's do on the final, execute, and then we should be good to go there. And then we'll watch our replays. And it's perfect timing. It's 1:30. Vet appointment is at 2:30. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. We'll disconnect from the network. And didn't mean to set chocks. Remove chocks. And let's fire it off. Let's see, you guys let's do the replay first. Full screen here. Oh, classic Jet Senpai. Could you imagine an F-28 overhead? That would be so much fun, dude. An Airbus lights panel respond to my DM. Mickey G, really? Okay, I'm gonna try to find your DM after this stream, dude. Mickey G. An Airbus lights panel, Mickey G. What you talking about, Willis? Why don't you want it? Because you're a Boeing guy. You can't have any Airbus equipment. There's Pentagon where Mickey G works. Allegedly. Just kidding. Am I? The dreaded no-win landing. Oh, classic Jet Senpai. Could you imagine a 7.4 flight engineer panel? That would be something, dude. Nice. Not. Oh, that looked pretty good for a flap 40. Oh wow, listen to those brakes. Well, that sounded pretty good. Shaco Mill, what's up, man? In the sim, my taxiways leading onto 19 are all jacked up. Are yours always like that? Probably, Shaq. This scenery is just so outdated and so, like, out of performance spec. I have all kinds of issues with this scenery, man. Perfect. Almost perfect flap 40. These RowsFire panel pop-outs driving me nuts. I wonder if there's a way to stop that. Alright, you guys want to see the replay? Hold on. Save that. How do I... There's got to be a way to stop these every time I load in. RowsFire has this panel pop-out thing, and it pops out my NG panels on my second monitor. Alright, let's go back to right about here. See, every time. I'm going to have to talk to XP72 about this. That's crazy. What if I just stop the overhead? Let's just stop it. Yeah, let's stop it from being in use. Alright. Alright, so this was our go-around. This is where we got too distracted because we had an epic super chat from Chris LeBlanc with the $50 super chat, man. Appreciate you. This was a Chris LeBlanc go-around here. Intentional float. Tried to do a bulk landing on it. We ended up really floating. Yes, he kept the throttle in way too long. Way too long. Oh, we just kind of hovered there. Oh, we did bulk it. That's good. So we touched down. Oh, this will sound cool. Alright, go around. Alright. Go around. Toga. Wait. Flaps. Positive rate. Gear up. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. I got a better idea. Hold on. Let's turn this down. I got an idea. Let's put the gear down. Make sure the gear comes down. I want to do a... Let's wait for the gear to come down. I'm going to put the camera right where we spool up, essentially. So, like, right about here is where we go around. So let's reset the drone camera. This will be pretty sweet. Watch this. We're going to move you over here. Right about here. We'll zoom you in. And I can't stand looking at clear blue in a million skies in Flight Sim. So we're going to lock you in. We're going to... Let's fast forward the time a little bit. How about a little... What about a dawn approach? You flew all night. You flew the red-eye into DCA is what you did. We just flew the red-eye into DCA. Hot, muggy morning. Let's watch this go around here. This will be pretty cool. Sounds up. The LODs are off on the replay this far out, but... Had to go around on a deadhead a few months ago. Could almost feel the passenger eyes burning a hole into my head as they were looking to see if I reacted in any way. Nice, dude. The Dawn's Early Light, Diabetic Lad. There it is. Dawn's Early Light. I just want to listen for the go-around. Oh, that is so sick. I mean, that is pretty sick. How many times do we get to a takeoff replay? Almost never. Let's do one more. Let's wind it forward just a little bit so we're not blasted by those LED lights. So like right about, we'll do yellow hour for Turk Heron. Shh, shh, shh. Listen, listen, listen. That's pretty cool. What about, hold on. What about pause it, turn the sound down? Hold on. What if we move it even further back, like you're saying? I know what you're saying. What if we go way back here so we get the flyover, essentially? Let's do it right about here. All right, sounds up. Let's watch this. This is something we never do. This is kind of cool. We get a takeoff go round. I wish we could have the gear down that far out. X-plane for the win there. That's pretty epic. That is pretty epic. I'm going to stop it. We're going to load the landing and we're going to wrap it up. All right, we're going to stop that. Replays, sound, sales coming up. Let's move you forward. That was hot, wasn't it, Sandman? That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. All right, I'm going to set the camera right about here for a little bit. Well, I don't know how this replay is going to pan out. We're going to want evening time into the July 4th cinematic mode. Let me just make sure. I have to see how this is going to work. All right, got a bolt. V1 on chat, classic jet. Take it easy, my man. We'll see you on the next one. All right, y'all. If I don't get to see you later this evening, I am going to try really hard to hang out with y'all tomorrow morning for a little bit. Either Jet Card Stream, Falcon 50, Say Intentions, AI. We'll be taking a look at that. This has been fun. If I don't get to see you, though, I hope y'all have a... Whoa, loud. Hold on. I can't hear myself. I hope you have a happy, safe, healthy 4th of July for all my American friends out there. And for all you Euros, it's 1-0 USA. I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. Thank you all for the support. Hit the like button for me on the way out. See you.